Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Psalm for Sunday. I'm Pastor John Ferry from Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Fayetteville, New York. And this week's psalm is a very, very beautiful psalm. It's Psalm 145. We have only the middle portion for worship on Sunday, but I'm presenting tonight the whole psalm so that you get a sense for the way it works and the sense of the praise, the praiseful nature of this psalm. It just lifts your heart to God. This psalm is what is sometimes called an alphabetic or acrostic psalm. There are 7, 8, 9, depending on how you count them, psalms in the Hebrew Bible that are composed this way. That is, each line begins with the next letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So if you were going to say this in English, the first line would begin with A, the second line would begin with B, the third line would begin with C, and so on. So there are a number of psalms that are composed that way. The most famous one being the very long psalm, Psalm 119, where every stanza, all the lines of every stanza to begin with the same letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and then they go in order. Why this was such a favorite way of composing a psalm in ancient Israel? It's a question. Sometimes I like to think of it as a school exercise where the teacher is teaching young scribes how to write a line of poetry and sort of assigning, well, now today your line of poetry is going to begin with Z, your line of poetry is going to begin with Q, your line of poetry is going to begin with B. But who knows? This psalm is each line then is basically formulas of praise to God. It is appropriate for this Sunday because in our gospel we have the saying of Jesus, "Come to me, all you who are laden with heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." This is a psalm of praise for those times when God gives us rest. So we look at the first few verses. It's really in three stanzas of 7 lines each. One line is missing, by the way. One thing about acrostic psalms, you can tell when there's a line missing because they go A, B, C, D. So if F is missing, you know it. And in this case, the line that would begin with N is missing. Again, why is that? Most people would say that's purely a copying error. It is found in the Greek Bible, and it's found in a manuscript in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So the thought is it's just a copying error. But as it is now, it's 3 stanzas of 7 lines each. And the first stanza is all about exalting and praising God. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. The praise of God goes down through all generations. I will exalt you, my God and King. I will bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. There is no limit to God's greatness. Generation after generation will praise your deeds. They will tell of your majesty. I will ponder the splendor of your majesty and your wondrous deeds. They will tell of your mighty, awesome acts. I will tell of your greatness. They will see reminders of your great goodness, and they will shout out your justice. So this is the sense that God remains the same from generation to generation, and that God's praise will be spoken from generation to generation. One thing we're going to notice in this psalm is the repetition of the word all in the next stanza, which is the stanza we have for this Sunday. Gracious and compassionate is the Lord, slow to anger and great in mercy. Good is the Lord to all. His compassion is for all his works. Everything you have made thanks you, O Lord. Your faithful ones bless you. They will tell of the glory of your reign and recount your might, making known to human beings God's might and the splendid glory of God's reign. Your reign is a reign for all ages, and your rule for every generation. The Lord supports all who fall and raises up all who are bowed down. One way you could take an acrostic psalm, or a psalm that begins with every letter of the alphabet, is the alphabet represents the all. That is, every letter is represented at the beginning of the lines, at the beginnings of the lines of this psalm. And that helps to emphasize this notion that the Lord is good to all. His compassion, God's compassion is for all. The Lord cares for and supports all who fall, all who bow down. And that includes you, that includes me, that includes all of us, that the Lord cares and acts on our behalf when we are crushed or weighed down by life's burdens. So this psalm points us in the direction of that good, loving, compassionate, and powerful God who cares for us all. Then in the final stanza, here is the providence of God. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them all their food in due season. You open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. The Lord is just in all his ways and faithful in all his works. The Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. He accomplishes the desire of those who honor him. He hears their cry for help and saves them. The Lord takes care of all those who love him, but all the wicked he destroys. My mouth will declare God's praise. Let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. So this beautiful psalm declares the goodness of God, the providence of God, the compassion of God, the mercy of God, and the justice of God. All those things are here. And they go so very well with our gospel for this Sunday when Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are burdened and heavy laden. I will give you rest." There's a little bit more, though, here than just that. This is a time of great anxiety. This is a time of great pressures of every kind, the pandemic, the turmoil in the country, the political situation, the cries of racial injustice. All of that is weighs down on us now. It burdens us. In a way, I think that what Jesus is saying is maybe the first step that we can take as disciples is to learn how to share each other's burdens. When we share each other's burdens, we are Christ to each other. And when we are Christ to each other, we open all our hearts to praise God, to praise the good, compassionate, just, and loving God. Thank you for being with us tonight. And if you'd like to stay on, you'll hear the Geneva Psalm tone for Psalm 145.